Morning, Rabbi Sorokin. How are you?
Hey, Rabbi Schwartz. I am good. Looking forward to Shabbat.
Yeah, Shabbos is coming right around the corner. And it's great to have the opportunity to be together to do a brief video chat for the congregation introducing the Sedra, Torah portion of the Shabbos, which is, as you reminded me, Vayishlach.
Drum roll.
Yeah, great Parsha and so much going on in terms of narrative. But, one thing that you and I have been talking about lately is the character of Esau. And on the surface, such a sympathetic character. And that's the way I think you read Esau's character. It's the way I read Esau's character. Meanwhile, in later rabbinic tradition was really sort of vilified. But I really like to read the pshat, the plain meaning, and see that sympathy. And I was thinking about it just today, and the idea of how bitterly disappointed Esau was at the end of last week's Torah portion, at losing out to Jacob, the birthright, the blessing, so desperately wanting to get a blessing from Isaac, their father, and Isaac basically saying, "No, don't have anything for you." And one of the things that Torah does in this magical way is it's like fast forward, right? And here we are. It's 20 years later, and Jacob's going to come back, and the whole re-encounter with Esau and all that business. But meanwhile, we get this picture of Esau that's very powerful to me. I mean, he's really from probably the lowest point in his life. He's made a wonderful life for himself. He's got a family. He's obviously done well in terms of whatever career he chose to pursue. And you really see him as a person who seems to have a good sense of self, good sense of what life should be about, and living it out that way. Yeah. What do you think about it?
It's so interesting when you just said that. I was thinking for one of my high holiday sermons, I spoke about the oscillating narrative, which is like the story, right? That oftentimes we tell our stories or narratives of our lives in a certain way. And usually if you look at something like Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat, you see like the stories of ascent, right? Like things just keep getting better and better and better. Every once in a while you see a story of descent, which is like, we had it all, something terrible happened, we lost it all, and here we are. But mostly throughout the Torah and also in our lives, we have oscillating narratives filled with ups and downs, highs and lows. And I think that we see that in Esau too. And as you said, he, in this moment, when you look at his life, it really feels like, he has everything that matters. And one of my favorite scenes, right, from this Torah portion is Jacob is really struggling and terrified, but courageous in going to meet up with his brother whom he's wronged, on multiple occasions. And what we see is Jacob is like prepared for Esau to attack, right? And he like separates out the camp and he puts his like favorites in the back. He's got a whole plan to this confrontation. And at the end, what ultimately happens is that he and Jacob, see each other for the first time. And, Esau doesn't try to hurt him or kill him. He actually hugs him and he kisses him, and he, they have this moment, like this brotherly moment where it's said, like, to see your face is like seeing the face of God. And then Jacob tries to like repay his brother from all of the inheritance and the blessings that like, that should have been his. And he's like, here, take all of the stuff and the animals. And Esau has this most exquisite moment where he says, like, no, my brother, like, you keep what's yours. Like, I have enough.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, I'm good. No, it really is, so it's amazing. Well, first of all, I say, like, I can see Palmer likes the Torah portion also, that Jacob has all this stuff going on to create this plan B, right? It's really like plan B is the emergency plan. Meanwhile, plan A works out. How often does that happen? But in terms of the kind of narrative arc of Esau's character, really is, I think, one of the great figures in the Torah, with the difficulties that he has and kind of this nature that maybe he does need to tame, and then the bitter disappointments that he suffers. But then he really gets it to a place where I think any of us would say that's a good place to be. And maybe that's a lesson for all of us in the Parsha, that when we have the bitter disappointments in life, there's a way to get back to a good place. Might not be the place we thought we were going to be, right? But it's a good place to be able to recognize that and be grateful for it.
It's so, I love what you're saying. And I also think it's like perfectly fitting in the week going into Thanksgiving, right? You just said like to be grateful for it. And I feel like, just coming into the week ahead, really just that idea of recognizing that most of the time we too really do have enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great message for this Shabbos, and great message for the week of Thanksgiving. And Rabbi Sorokin, great to be with you for a Torah chat. It's been a bit.
Loved every second. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Take care.